Welcome back, dear viewers, and still watching Breakfast Show on Now TV International. And as we said earlier, we shall be talking about tourism, especially during this season. During Eid, Egypt experiences a significant surge, actually, in tourism, particularly for domestic travel and also cultural visits. Egyptian families and individuals actually tend or often travel to popular destinations like Luxor, Aswan, Red Sea resorts like Sharm el-Sheikh and Hurghada. Also, we experience visits, large visits in Cairo, Alexandria, and also the New Alamein. And talking about this topic, we're most delighted to be joined over the phone by Mr. Adel Hamza, the tourism expert. Good morning to you.
Happy Eid.
Happy Eid to you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And talking about the tourism during this period of time, and because it's not a long vacation actually, because today is the get back to schools and work as well. So during this period of time, mainly Egyptians, they tend to travel inside, or they tend to go for domestic trips. So what do you think are the places that receive tourists the most during this period of time?
Thank you very much for the call. Actually, first of all, happy Eid and enjoying the seasons of Eid in Egypt.
To you too.
Thank you very much. Actually, the domestic tourism in Egypt is really very, very important because, as you know, that the season of summer is going to start maybe at the end of this month for the Arab and Gulf tourists. And some other people who usually come to Egypt, to the north coast and these areas. But as a compensation for the delay of this season, actually we have the domestic tourism by the Egyptians. And most of the cities beside beaches like Hurghada, like Juna, you know, all the sea, all the Red Sea, all the cities of the Red Sea and the north coast was fully occupied by Egyptians the last week, and till the end of this week, most of the families, they started to travel, you know, 2 days before the Eid, and they are going to stay until the end of this week.
Yes,
although it's a short vacation.
Yes, of course, and as you just mentioned, the Egyptians, they tend to go during this period of time to Guna, North Coast, and the known destinations, but we want to divert, or we want to change that, and we want them to know more about the hidden gems that are in Egypt, and to try to shift from going to Guna and North Coast and the usual destinations to other places that are not known for them. So can you tell us more about these hidden gems that we want the Egyptians to know of and to start visiting during this period of time?
Yeah, actually, as you said, that the Egyptians also, they started to look for other destinations to spend their vacation. You know, the time right now also, the weather is not that bad. I mean, it's not that hot.
Not very hot.
The tourists of Egypt also, domestic tourism, they started also to enjoy Luxor and Aswan, especially in this time of the year. Although this time of the year, but really the weather is not that bad. So a lot of people also, they enjoy the Nile cruises in Luxor and Aswan. And also the Egyptians, they started to be aware of the culture also places, like arranging some visits to the cultural places in Cairo, like, you know, the Islamic areas, the Islamic houses and palaces and the streets in Cairo. Also, if you go there in the evening, you find a lot of Egyptian families visiting Shara al-Mu'izz and, you know, the cultural centers of the Islamic area, the citadel, and all these areas.
Yes, and if we're going to talk about the foreigners, where do they tend to visit the most during this period of time?
For foreigners, of course, priority is cultural places or the
Sharm
classical
el-Sheikh,
places.
for example.
Yeah,
Yes.
classical places in Cairo and in the city of Cairo. Of course, the Grand Egyptian Museum. They like to enjoy visiting this area, which is related to the Egyptian civilization, the Egyptian history. But besides that, also we started to have foreigners who are going to destinations. Usually the Egyptian used to go there, like beaches in Red Sea, beaches in the North Coast. For the first time in the last 5 years, you find a lot of foreigners traveling to the North Coast, just to the North Coast. And this is really very, very important thing happening in Egypt last 5 years.
And if we're talking about the occupancy of hotels during this period of time, and we're talking about domestic tourism reaching nearly 100%, so how do you think, or how does the domestic tourism activity might help improve the tourism climate in general, and also revenues in specific?
Of course, it's very important because the hotels, they don't depend on foreigners also to finance their services in hotels. But this is very good a chance also for them in that time, which is not a lot of tourists from abroad, to find the Egyptians also occupying the hotels and consuming meals in the hotels. This will help, of course, the hotels to continue offering their services to other people and to improve their services to other people.
Due to the high rates of occupancy at the hotels, and I'm talking about for Egyptians as well, do you think, or how do we end the debate or the dilemma of Egyptians wanting to travel abroad instead of spending this amount of money in Egypt?
You know, that the Egyptians, they discovered in the last years that staying in Egypt and enjoying the places and destinations and the hotels in Egypt is really more economical for them than going abroad. And the same services, the same level of luxury they find in hotels. So also better beaches, better destinations. So why we can go there, we can go abroad if we have already the better places here in Egypt, the better destinations, the better luxury of services. So they find it in Egypt. This is very, very important, by the way, to the Egyptian hotels and to the Egyptian tourism in general.
But talking about luxury hotels, and some of the rates are overpriced, or if we're talking about the rates, actually, some of them are overpriced, and if you tend to experience or to manage the difference between traveling inside Egypt and outside Egypt, there might be a slight difference, but how do we compensate for that?
The compensation actually is in the flight tickets. Flight tickets also not that cheap. So hotels outside, also in the other countries around us, is not that cheap. So comparing with our hotels, with the level of services they are offering, actually we are better than all these areas. You can find hotels in the neighboring countries, same level of hotels and same level of service, but doubling the price of the hotels here in Egypt.
Yes, Mr. Adel Hamza, the tourism expert, thank you so much for your valuable insights regarding tourism, or the domestic tourism during this period of time. And dear viewers, by this we come to the end of our edition of The Breakfast Show. But do stay tuned for another edition coming to you tomorrow on Now TV International.